Okay, welcome, Health Wealth Self Pod episode 2, where we talk everything from health and fitness to inner stuff, inner game stuff, travel, pretty much anything having to pertaining to that. So yeah, episode 2 coming at you live from Buenos Aires. That's the night of Buenos Aires in the back. So yeah, we just got back from a 3-day. We just finished a 3-day trip in Mendoza, Argentina, which is mostly what I would like to talk about today, because that trip was really cool. What did you think about that trip?
Yeah, no, it's cool. And you go into a little bit more on your vlog, but I think the recap of that was spot on.
Yeah,
great for wine drinkers. Very quaint, kind of small little city. I think the parents, my parents would love it.
Yeah, no, I think.
But yeah, it was a good trip.
Yeah, I think my parents would really love that as well. Especially my mom. My dad wouldn't, but my mom would love that place, man. So yeah, but let's back it up a little bit. So started off with some serious travel woes. Actually, yeah,
that was awful.
Serious travel woes. You want to talk about that?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, because we went over a little bit in the first episode of what this trip was. This is a trip I went through work, and as part of that, they can book your travel for you. But I decided I wanted to book all my flights on my own. Because we were going to go to Brazil afterwards, which was not part of the work trip, so I wanted some flexibility on my own end. Yeah. So long story short, I decided to book my own travel. I was leaving out of Tijuana, Mexico, down to Mexico City. From there, I was set to go to Lima, and then from Lima, I was supposed to go straight to Mendoza. That was the plan. 3 flights.
3 flights, boom, boom, boom.
But that is not what happened. I was supposed to land Saturday morning at 7 a.m. in Mendoza, and I did not end up landing in Mendoza until 5 p.m. on Saturday. My first flight was Friday morning at 9 a.m. out of Tijuana. So that part was actually fine if people are in the Southern California area. I actually thought it was really easy going out of Tijuana. Yeah, so that was fine. The issue was in Mexico City. We were supposed to leave at 4:30, and we were still standing and to board the plane at 5:30. We haven't even gotten on the plane yet. So
It's the worst when that happens, man.
And I had about an hour and 40-minute layover. Mm-hmm. So I knew we were getting down to the wire of making that connecting flight in Lima. So we eventually get on the plane, and then we're just sitting there, and we pull back. I think we pulled back around 6 p.m. And then there's, I'm thinking, all right, there's a chance here. And then we pull back, and then we just sit.
How long did you sit for?
We sat on the plane, I think, for 2.5 hours.
Wow.
And then they moved us over to this kind of maintenance looking area next to a UPS plane, and everyone thought the plane was broken. They were going to fix it because they weren't really. They said wind, but we can see planes taking off.
This was all out of Mexico City.
This is all in Mexico City.
Wow, it's crazy.
And I don't speak really any Spanish.
Yeah.
Luckily, I had met a guy in line who spoke. He was from Finland. He had spoke English and Spanish, so he was kind of my translator, and I ended up sitting next to a guy from San Diego, oddly enough.
Wow, that works out.
So luckily we were with that other guy. His name was Taro, who spoke Spanish and English, so he could translate what was going on. Otherwise, I would have been completely lost. So basically, we're sitting, on the plane. They ended up taking all of the bags off the plane. And they never really told us. They said it was too much weight and that there was cargo on the plane that they couldn't take off, but they could take off the bags instead. So they took off the bags, and we're just
worry. You guys don't need your clothes. Yeah. Just don't sweat it.
Unbelievable. I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, that's insane, man.
So they take the bags off, and then eventually, after again about 2.5 hours of sitting there, we take off to Lima with no bags. And at that point, since we left so late, no one made their connecting flights.
Oh,
so basically, as soon as we landed, everyone just went into line for LATAM. It's LATAM Airlines that I flew, and I'm never flying them again. Yeah, so never fly LATAM.
Yeah, even though I had a LATAM flight.
Yeah,
I went from Santiago. So my flight was the exact opposite of Jason's. My flight was smooth as hell. I left San Diego. I didn't go out of Tijuana. I left out of San Diego. And I took American, and I love American International. I think American International is just, really good. And so I took American to Dallas to Santiago, Chile, and then it was LATAM from Santiago to Mendoza, which for me went really smooth.
Yeah.
It's quite nice. I got there before Jay. I was supposed to get to him like 5 hours after him. I had him before him.
You had your bag. I didn't.
Yeah, I had all my luggage. I had pretty much everything. I had everything I needed.
But luckily, my bag showed up a day later. So it showed up Sunday.
Yeah,
showed
they
up
were
Sunday
pretty
morning.
quick on that, which was good.
Because when I landed in Mendoza, they had no idea where it was. I'm like, don't you scan the bags in your system? And then but they said we don't know where it is.
Oh,
so
boy.
that was frightening. But
yeah.
in the end, it ended up working out pretty well. And I think what we had talked about in Mendoza in terms of like travel tips, which might be, now that I've kind of vented that out, we can get into like, things learned or positive things to take from that. Don't cheap out on international flights.
Yeah, don't do it.
When I went to Thailand, you can get super cheap flights to Asia and parts of the world, but it's like if you do that, just be aware of the the potential consequences for doing that. So or if you just pick a well-known airline, could there be issues with American? Sure, but less likely than
the customer service will just probably be better.
Yeah,
in that circumstance.
Yep.
But I think also too a big lesson from that is in your carry-on, bring 2 to 3 sets of clothes.
Yep. That was my mistake. Yep.
Yeah. So if they lose your checked bags, you're not totally screwed.
Right. Because I just had a backpack with like some electronics. I didn't have any real clothes.
Yeah.
In that. So if you're going to be international for over a week, or somewhere, you need to have some clothes in that carry-on.
Yeah. Yeah. Just so like if they lose it, you don't completely go. You don't have it. You have some form of clothing where you don't have to be wearing, like he had to wear mine the first day.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And he didn't have any other shoes or anything. He couldn't work out. He couldn't do anything. Yeah.
Another thing is if you do have connecting flights and you don't have a ton of time in between. I mean, if you have like 4 hours, it's not an issue. But if you get like an hour or under 2 hours, I would try to sit towards the front of that plane.
Yeah.
So you can get off that plane and to where you need to go in a hurry. So
in time, because usually too, if it's an international connector,
those flights are big. There's a lot of people.
And a lot of times because the terminals will be usually, like for example, my San Diego to Dallas flight, that's in a domestic terminal and then it goes to a different terminal. So you usually, if you're going from domestic to international, you're flipping terminals, even if you're on the same airline, which I was. So that's going to be usually like, especially Dallas, which Dallas's airport is huge. It's unbelievable. You been in Dallas Fort Worth?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God, it's huge. So you got to take this air tram to the international terminal, and it's just so damn far away. So if you sit towards the front, usually I don't like sitting towards the front because that will be your most. Well, now they do groups, so usually it was they would put you on from back to front. But now they're doing some type
if you need
groups.
Overhead, then middle to back would be better.
Yeah.
So there's like pros and cons to it, but
because even with if you want to talk about the check bag thing and they bring in the set of clothes in your carry on, well, if they make you check that freaking bag anyway, then you're kind of lost there.
Yep.
So
it's either having like priority seating, or if they don't, maybe sitting towards the middle to back, because then you'll get on first.
Yes.
Yeah. If you need the overhead. If you don't,
if you need the overhead, or try to get some type of priority.
Yeah.
So like I bought this particular flight using my Chase points, or either I used the Chase points or I went through the Chase portal with my reserve card. I can't really remember. The reserve card is what I use to book all my travel, because it's just
me too.
It's it's clutch as hell. The Chase Reserve, that is. And when you book with that, I could be wrong on this, but every time I've booked it using it, I get some type of priority seating. I get some type of priority, like boarding, I mean. So I booked it using that. I got priority boarding. So even though I was kind of, in the front, I still got on relatively quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if that's just me though. That like it could be because I booked it with American and I fly American all the time. So that could be why because American has, I think, the best flights going south, like going below the United States. I think Americans is, really, is good. Every time I've used them to either go to Brazil or we went to Colombia or whatever. I think coming back from Colombia, we took JetBlue, but I like JetBlue as well. But I don't think JetBlue doesn't go down to like this far.
Yeah, I don't think so.
When we landed in Santiago, man, I was like, we're really far down.
Yeah.
This is like super far.
Really far.
And
really close to Patagonia.
Yeah, I know. And Santiago, Chile is, just really close to Mendoza because Mendoza's on the west.
Right on the other side of the mountains.
Mendoza. So for you guys who don't know, Mendoza is on, it's on the western part of Argentina, which is it's like right next to the Andes, and it's really like desert. But I guess the cool part about that area is the wine that comes from there, or the famous wine that comes from there, which is the Malbec red wine. Yeah. That grape is kind of unique to that region, which is why kind of Argentina, I think, boomed as such a wine manufacturer. So that's really close to Santiago. So you're really just like that flight from Santiago to Mendoza is kind of just popping over the Andes, and I think it was an under an hour flight. Yeah. Yeah.
It's literally you go up, you can see the mountains, and you go right back down.
Yeah. Some of those, I tell you what, I got this photo, and I'm gonna put it in the vlog for this Mendoza trip. That sunset over the Andes, or the sunrise over the Andes. Yeah. Holy Jesus, that was awesome. It was there's some really cool landscapes and scenery around that area. The Andes Mountains are just, I think coming from North America is just, maybe I'm just ignorant, but it's something that I don't think you hear about a lot or see how massive and magnificent they are. Yeah, they're really huge. Yeah. And they go a long freaking way, man. I mean, they're all the way at the bottom of Chile, and they go all the way up, the entirety of South America. Yeah. It's crazy. But yeah, so that was the traveling.
And before we actually hop into Mendoza stuff, because you mentioned the chase. So one thing I want to add to that is what actually kind of saved, because I ended up being in Lima for over 6 hours for my.
Oh yes, that's right.
My layover. So you get a bunch of perks with this Chase Sapphire Reserve card, but one of them is you can get access to it's called a Priority Pass card. It's a paid, service from using the card, but basically there's VIP lounges in pretty much every airport in the world, and whether it's domestic, international, doesn't matter.
There was one in the Mendoza airport, which when you first said it, you're like, all right, I'm gonna try to find a Priority Pass. I shrugged you off, there's no chance it was gonna be there. Yeah, but it was there,
and it's a small airport.
It's a small airport, and it still had, so you get access to these lounges with that card. That's pretty sweet.
And if someone who doesn't really know or maybe walks by these lounges and airports, basically you're gonna get free food, free drinks, water, soda. You get free alcohol. There's showers. There's Wi-Fi. There's beds. There's lazy boy. So they're always different. But I mean, there was massage chairs, as in the one in Korea I went to.
And because you slept in.
Yeah, I ended up sleeping
Lima,
in Lima,
right?
Yeah. So I mean, these things they're huge, and the food's pretty good. I mean, it's free, and you can take stuff with you. So if you're in airports a lot and you don't, if you have this card and aren't using that benefit or don't have this card, I mean, that alone is huge.
That's unbelievable. And I really haven't taken advantage of it. Yeah. And I've had this Priority Pass card for a couple years now, and I haven't. Yeah. But I definitely will now. It's not that long obviously you want to try to avoid long layovers as much as possible, but I think as you travel, I don't know if it's as much, I think you just got really shit luck with what you did in this one, but I think going down south to South America, that won't really happen as much because the flights are kind of but I think if you're going real east, if you're going over the Pacific and you're going to Asia and stuff, that's when those long layovers I think really happen. Yep. Where I think that if you really want to be going to Thailand, Bali, all that kind of stuff, this Priority Pass I think would be huge in that, because a lot of those are small airports over there, correct? So you usually those layovers, or
no? I mean, it depends where you go. I mean, my layover for Thailand was in Korea, but I did that on purpose because I wanted to go to Korea. I don't remember where the other layovers were for our other friends who went there, but yeah. Okay, I'm not sure.
Yeah. So, and also, let's also bring up the fact that the reason that this is out so late is because another travel woe. Is I freaking blew up all my microphones.
True story.
True story. So these are actually new replacement mics that I bought here in Buenos Aires. But what happened is I didn't look at the freaking voltage. So, I think you take for granted now that like pretty much even the little iPhone power adapters can go 100 to 240 or whatever it is.
Yep.
Like right? Because all South America is the 220, 60 or 50 hertz, whatever. One of them that's different. The United States is basically just different in that. So
your hertz were off too. Not only the voltage, but you had the 50 hertz. You needed 60.
Yeah. So we plug in Mendoza to try to do the podcast about Mendoza then, so we can get it out on Monday. And the minute I plugged them in, just the blue light on the power supply came on, and then all of a sudden it went off. And so I tried to fix them, or I tried to get parts to fix them. Tried to get a converter, a power adapter. Nope. I blew them up. So they are completely fried. So I just left them in the hotel. So they are, see you later. They're gone. So that was obviously a bummer. So I think you really also, if you do have some appliances, like most like cell phone chargers, computer chargers, all those things, they'll have
automatically.
They'll have like the automatic range, right? But this particular, my power supply for my microphone didn't, and I think most stereos don't.
If women are bringing hair dryers, you might want to check those.
Yeah, hair dryers and stuff like that. So just make sure the voltage where you're going. Just don't blow your shit out. Just don't blow your stuff
It's really
up.
easy on Google. If you just Google country voltage and hertz, and then you look, you'll see it on the.
I did not do, but hopefully these are better mics. These save my space. So hopefully that will be good, and we'll be straight from this point forward. But yeah, so check your voltage.
Yeah.
But cool. So Mendoza, let's talk Mendoza, man. So Mendoza, like I was saying before, it's on the western side of Argentina. It's wine. If you like wine, you will love Mendoza. If you like wine and traveling, you will love it.
Even if you don't like wine, you're gonna like wine after.
Yeah,
Mendoza.
no, really, like, because I really don't like wine that much, and it was like, but it's like everywhere. I mean, it's like
lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's like you go out to a restaurant and you don't. It's like you order wine or you don't drink anything. It's like, there's like really no. There is other alcohol, you can get them, but it's like everyone you look at is drinking a glass of wine.
And all like the included tours for my work thing, they were all, it's like open bar for wine.
Yeah,
so it's like obviously we're drinking
wine stuff. Yeah. So we spent 3 days in Mendoza. We did one wine tour. That wine tour we did on our last full day there. We left really early the next day. So the first day we got there, it was like we were talking about the travel woe city, where I think we both landed. I took a 4-hour nap because I didn't sleep on the red eye from Dallas to Santiago that much. I maybe did 1 or 2 hours, and Jay was exhausted when he came back. So I think we tried to muster up some energy and go do some stuff, but
we walked down the main. We had a welcome dinner for my work thing, and then we walked down that main strip, which was really cool.
Yeah, it was a cool strip.
You'll see it on the vlog.
Yeah.
I think I was knocked out by 11 o'clock that night.
Yeah, no, we were kind of exhausted from that day of travel. And then the second day we just went out and we did some exploring. Mendoza itself is super clean. I thought it was very clean. I thought the people were very friendly, and like no overt meanness or anything. Even though when I was walking around and I was taking just some shots of just whatever, some people were talking about don't show this out. And then when I had my phone out at a restaurant, people were saying that as well, like don't leave this out. What you say, the boys will run by.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I didn't feel unsafe at all in Mendoza.
No.
So take that for what it's worth. I mean, we're both 6 feet dudes, so it could be a little different maybe if you're a female or whatever, but I didn't feel unsafe at all. Yeah. Where they're obviously here in Buenos Aires, it's a different story.
Definitely different. This is an actual proper city. Mendoza is not really. I mean, technically it's city, but not really.
It's a city, but it's kind of more of like just like a wine.
Yeah.
Like, because that's it's not that big. I think you can really walk the main portions of at least the downtown just, in an afternoon, which is what we did, which is fine, which is good. We saw the day we walked, it was a beautiful day, but it's just such a chill, kind of laid back vibe. Mm-hmm. Everything is really late though. So people don't even think about eating dinner till like 10 o'clock.
Yeah, they don't open till 8 p.m.
Yeah,
restaurants don't open. And that's an Argentina thing. Yeah,
that's an Argentina thing in general, which maybe we can step back and after that into like kind of some cultural differences to Argentina that we found. But yeah, so in Argentina, and that when we got there and we did the exploring, it was on a Sunday, and that Sunday was the start of a 3-day holiday. And
it was like their Labor Day on that Tuesday.
Yeah, it was their Labor Day on that Tuesday, so everyone just had Monday off too. Was it a separate holiday, or is it just
because they just had the Monday off because Labor Day was that Tuesday, I guess?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, Sunday is Family Day, and not a lot of stuff is open. So then, which is which was fine. There's certain restaurants and certain pockets that are open that we were able to at least go get food and whatever. But there wasn't like super lively. It wasn't super jumpy. And I think that actually, because we got there on that Saturday, every day that we were actually there and doing stuff, it was kind of shut down. So maybe we didn't even really see what.
But I did. So a couple of the guys that were in my work group did actually. So there are some nightclubs in Mendoza that are not. They're actually kind of outside the actual city itself. Mm. It's about a 20-minute cab ride outside the city. Mm-hmm. They actually went there at 3 a.m. and they said there was a lot of people there.
Really?
So I think they went on that Sunday night because it was open. Normally it was only open Saturdays because the holiday was actually open Sunday night. So they went. So they did find an actual proper nightclub, and they said it was fun. So. We didn't make it out, to anything like that.
Yeah, so we didn't really get to, I think, really try to experience the nightlife of Mendoza as much.
Saving that for Buenos Aires.
Yeah, we were saving it for Buenos Aires, Buenos Aires. I keep saying it wrong. Because the nightlife here is top notch. It's some of the best in South America.
May have been out till 5:30 last night. Maybe or maybe not.
You may or may not have been. So yeah, but so then, after exploring that day, we had a dinner that night, right? Did we?
On Sunday, we did the exploring. Monday was that wine tour.
Yeah, it was the wine tour. What about the dinner?
That's when we went to La Lucia. That's where we had those steaks, those bacon wrapped fillets.
Yes.
And they were...
Oh, yeah, okay. There we go. Beef here in Argentina, holy crap. It's good. It's like noticeably way better than beef in the States.
Like you would have to go to like a 5-star $100 plate steakhouse back home to get something like this. Your average
place just on the corner is just having the best steak you've ever eaten in your life. Mm-hmm. I guess Argentina used to be the huge steak exporter. They're currently a big exporter.
Yeah.
But they used to just so I guess they're just really known for their steaks, and it is noticeable. They are delicious.
Unbelievable.
They really are. So, yeah, I think I've had beef. I think I've literally had steak every day since I've been in Argentina.
Yeah, it's been a lot of wine and beef.
A lot of wine and beef.
But it's Argentina so good you can't stop.
Yeah, no, you like wine like beef. Holy crap, you'll like Argentina. You just gotta speak Spanish. That's another thing.
Yeah, I mean we've managed without it, and Google Translate helps.
It also helps that Google Translate is the GOAT, really.
And I will say, Argentina compared to Colombia, I think you can get away with English more here than in Colombia, from my experience. Yeah. So far, I think, especially here in Buenos Aires, so far, I think there's a lot of English speakers.
In Colombia, though, in Poblado, Poblado, you can find
that
some
little
English.
Pocket.
But just that one pocket.
Yeah.
Since Buenos Aires is that's a proper city itself. In Mendoza, I think it's also so I think it's a traveler city too, because I think a lot of people do come there for the wine, right? So I think there probably is a little bit more English than normal there, but because we really didn't have too much of an issue.
No.
We walked on that strip. You didn't hear much English at all, but
the waitress at one place we had lunch one day, she spoke English to us. So yeah, I don't, so far it hasn't been too much of an issue for us. Definitely would make your life easier.
Yeah, and I also think for me personally, knowing the limited amount of Portuguese that I do, that helps me be able to at least be not conversational, but at least like get to where I need to go and do what I need to do in that instance. So yeah, that's that. And so then the next day was the day we did the wine tour, and that is what it's known for. And the wine tour itself, we were spoiled completely with it. I mean, we had transportation there, we had dinner set up when we were there. We had kind of the whole spiel. But when we arrived, we had this awesome, and I think this is a lot of the tours though. I think like they do like the feeding and so you arrive there, they feed you with this like 5-course meal. It just keeps coming out, and new things just keep coming out for you. Obviously beef was part of that. So there were people on his work trip that were vegan and vegetarian, and they were definitely able to accommodate. So don't let all the beef like scare you away if you really like wine but you are a vegetarian or vegan, because you'll be able to easily be accommodated. But if you like beef and you like wine, oh baby, then
you'll
you're
be
in for
in
a
heaven.
treat. Let me tell you,
be real happy.
You'll be real happy there. So they feed you bottomless wine, whether it be white or red. And then after that, they bring you on the tour, and they bring you around and they show you how it's made. They show you how to do it. And the particular place that we went, what was the name of the place?
The winery?
Yeah.
It was like Zuccardi.
Zuccardi, yeah. Which I guess is one of the biggest family-owned in Argentina. There's a lot of them that are bigger, but they're like organizationally owned or whatever. This is a family-owned one. That are pretty big. They have what they say, like 3 or 4
locations in that area.
3 or 4 locations of what they're doing. So we were there, and so it's a big operation. I mean, it was huge. They also do olive oil there, which was pretty cool to see. Did a tasting of the olive oil, which was a different, because they made you like do this weird thing where they put it in your mouth. And like you had to like
taste it in a very strange way.
Yeah, you had to like put it in the front of your teeth, and then like suck it through your teeth, like breathe it through your teeth, and then as you're breathing it through your teeth, gulp it down. And it was supposed to like make it so your throat didn't swell up from the spices or something like that.
You made not a very good pitch. He was like, if you drink this, your throat will close. And everyone's like, wait, what? Like, what are you about to drink?
If you drink this, you might die.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was spicy for me. You didn't really tell, but I could tell.
I could know.
But I don't like spicy. So.
Yeah.
But that was interesting.
But yeah, and then we did the wine tasting itself. Which we didn't actually get that much, but I think it was because we were in the big group that happened. It would have been just insane to do it in the big group they were in. And then after that, we went home. It was pretty like boom, 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 boom. And so then the next day after that, we had to get up early, and we got on the flight, and we got over here to Buenos Aires. So I think. All in all, what is your final thoughts on Mendoza as a travel destination?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely glad that we went. Would I put it on my list to return? Probably not. I mean, there's so many places I want to go that I haven't been, and places I have that are probably stack up higher. But I mean, my mom, like I said in the beginning, she would be in heaven. She would absolutely love it there. So very quaint. The wine, the Malbec wines, which I heard of, but I was never really. I'm more of a cab drinker myself, but I mean, I really loved that style of wine.
Yeah.
And the weather was really nice. So the weather, I don't know if we hit on that. So it's kind of like we're down here, April into May, and it's kind of going into their winter. Yes. So it's kind of like for us, if you're in the Northeast, so it was kind of like a perfect fall weather day. Yeah. It was like in the 70s, dry, no humidity. Really, really nice. It never rained when we were there in Mendoza, so it's perfect kind of fall weather for the time that we're here right now. Buenos Aires, different conversation, but
Yeah,
Mendoza.
yesterday was perfect, but the first day we got here was...
Yep. So no, Mendoza, really nice weather. I think you can probably do it in 2 to 3 days. If you're a huge, wino, maybe you could stretch it out and do a bunch. And there's actually some day trips out to the Andes. Some people in our group did whitewater rafting and there was zip lining. Yeah. There's whitewater rafting. You can go out to the tours for Andes, the Andes Mountains. So there's some things to do. But for me, I think 3 days is perfect. Yeah. If we were there any longer, I probably would have wanted to get out of there.
I would definitely have to second you there. I think for me, 3 days was the perfect amount. I think any more than 3, I would have found myself longing a little bit, because it's quiet, it's quaint, it's like I really think my mom would love that place. You know what I mean? And I know, a couple of my friends back home are actually like going on a trip to it, because they're big winos themselves. So I think that's something that, that's on their radar, and I think that too. So we didn't experience the nightlife, but am I eager to experience the nightlife there? I don't think so. I think if you want to experience good nightlife, you come here. I think this place is, top notch. I think it's a top notch. I didn't realize how much Buenos Aires was a proper city, but
it's huge.
We'll get to on the next one a more in-depth view of Buenos Aires itself. But yeah, so I also second the 3 days was enough for me. I think I could have done another wine tour. I think, and maybe one more. I think, but I think if I drank a lot of wine on the one that we were on, it would have been enough. One would have been enough for me. But like I said, if you're a big wino and you want to do 2 or 3 of them, you can, and they'll all be different because there's a lot in the region. And then you want to do an Andes trip or something like that on the mountains. Do that. But yeah, it was a good city to go to. It was cool to see. Good experience.
We stayed in the nicest hotel.
We did. We had some kind of lush.
We were very bougie.
Luxury accommodations there. Which were, quite nice. We stayed. What was the name of the hotel?
Park Hyatt.
The Park Hyatt in Mendoza, and it was a great hotel, great service, great everything. Spoke fluent English there. I think it gets a little pricey, but we were just lucky to be on the trip itself. So yeah. That's the breakdown of Mendoza, I think. Is there anything else on Mendoza?
The only fun fact that's in my brain is from that winery. They said 80% of the wine in Argentina comes from Mendoza.
Oh, so there you go. That's a ton. Yeah. So cool. Yep. All right. So we did travel tips. We did that. Also too. I just want to talk about this briefly, and then we'll go. And we'll call it because it's getting to be a little not super late, but
dinner time. It's like getting 10 p.m.
Yeah, so it's getting a little late here where we are. So we're probably gonna wrap it up soon. But I do want to say that some feedback we got on the first one, from the first one we took out, which was great. I love getting feedback on this stuff. So anything that you think is stupid or you think needs to be improved or whatever, just DM me or let me know. I like hearing that stuff because obviously, I want to know. I'd just be sitting up here saying things that nobody wants to listen to. But I think one of the big major feedback that I got was that what I see this as is something that is supposed to be just informational, and inspirational. If you want to be traveling more, or you want to go to these places, or you want to, or you wanted some tips or tricks, or maybe some mindset shifts and that. What it is not, though, is trying to be condescending to lifestyles that aren't this. So I think everyone is in their own journey completely, and everyone's exactly where they're supposed to be. This is more for people that want to know more about kind of the traveling lifestyle, or they want to know about those things. This is not to condemn any other types of lifestyles. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. I think also too, I think a couple points that I made in the first one, didn't make a whole lot of sense because I am, I think when I said put my foot in my mouth
You've
there.
Definitely put your foot in your mouth a little bit. But it was the first one.
Yeah, it was the first one about the digital nomad. I am a digital nomad. so what am I? I don't know what I was. What am I saying? That
first podcast jitters.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I don't even know the point I was trying to make. But for that, it's like no, I am. I think what I was kind of just saying is that I really enjoy just being in places longer. Like Mendoza was great for 3 days. But we're only here in Buenos Aires for like 6 days, and goddamn, I just wish I had more time, man. Yeah. It's like you're just getting on the brink of being able to create some cool connections with. 6 days is not nearly enough, but even like with the 6 days, you're just barely touching being able to really, really connect with people. But you see the potential. I think it's enough where you're dabbing your foot in, and you're seeing the potential of what you could be doing, but. Obviously it's not. So yeah, just wanted to clear that up. So yeah, I'm going to try to get this one out as quick as possible. And then one should be jumping on you soon, about Buenos Aires, breakdown there, and kind of our experience here, which has been so far, which is very preliminary. First impressions are awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And something maybe you can edit out if you want, but something that you shared to me after you started getting the feedback for the first one that I think is actually just beneficial in life, not just for podcasts, but I think your attitude and openness to receiving. It's very, gut-wrenching to put something out there for the first time. Oh yeah, no, for sure. And have an attitude of receiving that, potentially critical feedback or negative reviews, and having the attitude of, openness, curiosity, and like, what can I learn from this? And you had shared with me that you're really using this as a way to improve yourself. Yeah. Because you're unaware potentially of how you come across sometimes. Yeah. If you're saying something and now if you get this feel like, wow, maybe I need to be aware of how I'm saying this, or my tone, or my attitude, or my point of view. Yeah. And that was the big thing that I thought of, because some of the things that, and I actually even noticed it like in post when I was listening to it. I was like, wow, I sound really condescending there. That's not what I was trying to do. So then the thought was, it's like, oh shit, like how often am I just doing this in normal conversation, that I don't even realize that I'm doing so. Right. So yes, it is very humbling putting something out for the first time and, receiving some feedback on it. But, this is an iterative process. Like this is just going to keep going. We're going to keep trying to improve and keep doing cool, what I think is cool anyway, some cool stuff, traveling around, talking about it. But yeah, no, I think it's going to be big personal development tool for me is this podcast. Absolutely. Which, because I'm just going to try to take in as much feedback as possible and try to learn how I come off and how points come off, and, and how to properly take the feedback in. Yeah, because I think that's what successful people are able to do in life. They're able to kind of put the ego to the side, or their identity off to the side for a minute, and take that feedback for whether it's a podcast, at work. I mean, the people that get very butthurt or defensive or react to that, I haven't yet to see them really excel in any area of life. That doesn't really matter. So I think if you can have that attitude of respect, openness, and a willingness to change and willingness to learn. In any area, it doesn't have to be a podcast. Yeah, no, of course. At work or what have you. I think that's very powerful. And again, I think that's what those high achievers or top performers do in life. So.
Yeah, I actually said that in the intro episode a little bit, was that I think any opportunity that you can have to be creative in some way where you're creating something is very humbling in that way. Yeah. Because you're really kind of making yourself super vulnerable to what could be coming in. To the feedback that be coming in, and and let's be honest, like also what will come, like obviously not me in this now because it's so small at this point, but as you get bigger, haters and people that are jealous and those kind of things, when those come in, it's really hard, I think, not to let that stuff get to you, and I think, but you won't really know about any of that stuff if you don't put yourself in a position where you're actually creating something from nothing that you maybe believe in, but then maybe other people don't. So yeah, that's a good point for sure. So, we're, like I said, we're just going to keep iterating on it. We're going to keep trying to do trying to be better and better each time. Hopefully, we'll have no more hiccups where I blow up microphones from this point forward now. So we'll see. So awesome. Cool. Anything else you want to touch upon?
Nope.
Awesome. Well, we're going to wrap that up here. So thank you for listening. I have a vlog coming out soon about some of our trip to Mendoza. And then look out for the Buenos Aires podcast. Should be coming out pretty soon right after this one. So thank you much for listening. Until next time, be happy, be healthy, and keep grinding. Peace out.